Today's video is Are Laundromats Passive Income, fact or fiction? Now, I know where a lot of people get the idea that laundromats are pretty much passive income, but today I'm going to answer that question for you. And unfortunately, the answer is it's fiction. They're not passive income. Now, let me tell you what passive income really is. And this is the definition from Investopedia, and I'm going to read it directly off the card so I get it right. Passive income is earnings derived from a rental property, limited partnership, or other enterprise in which a person is not actively involved. So a very good example of passive income could be stocks. So if you have, let's say, Johnson & Johnson stock, you have 100 shares and they pay a dividend. This year, they're scheduled to pay $4.76 per share in dividend. So if you own 100 shares and you keep it for 1 year, each quarter, Johnson & Johnson will give you $119. At the end of the year, it'll be $476. And you've done nothing with Johnson & Johnson. You don't work for them. You don't buy their products. You pay zero attention to them. But they send you a check every 3 months for the dividend as long as you own the stock. That's passive income. Now, I think a lot of people get the idea from the internet about laundromats. You know, it's big on YouTube where it's passive income, and I think that's a lot of clickbait, honestly. Unfortunately, a lot of people want to make money without putting the effort in, and that's just not really how it works. I mean, there's obviously some things that are passive income, you know, rental property, real estate, they're mostly passive income. Like I said, stocks, when they have dividends, those are passive income. But with laundromats, you have to put in the work. And another place that I really think that people get this idea that you just show up for, 45 minutes a week and just make money is from listings about laundromats for sale. And I highlighted this one. This is a perfect example. It happens to be in New Jersey, where I'm located. But right in here, it says, seller goes to the laundromat twice a week to do collections. $16,000 a month absentee profits. That's not bad, right? I mean, most of us would take a $200,000 a year job and work, maybe 1 hour a week. But I can tell you, being in the industry, that's not realistic. I don't believe this listing at all. And one of the things that I do find common throughout these listings is they're almost always absentee. I wonder, well, who does do the work? Who does the washing and folding? Who makes the schedule? Who calls the repair person? Who sets things up? Who runs things? Now, if you've seen my other videos, you do know that you can have a full-time job and own a laundromat, especially an unattended one. But even an unattended one is not completely passive. You know, for example, if a customer has a problem, let's say the power goes out and they can't get their laundry out of the machine because the it's locked. They're going to call you and you have to come and help them. You're also the one collecting the quarters. You might be the one doing the cleaning. I mean, even an unattended laundromat, it takes a couple hours a week to clean the bathroom, you wipe down the machines, you mop the floor, you especially empty the lint because you don't want to have a fire. So there's some work involved. Now you could hire an outside company to come in and clean, but that's, it's going to cost you some money. But you could do that. But in a laundromat that has employees, that does wash and fold or pick up and delivery or both, it's very, very difficult to be passive. Now, like I said, I did work 45 hours a week when I first bought my laundromat. I no longer have that job, but this laundromat is not my full-time job. But that doesn't mean I spend 0 hours there or 0 hours involved. I might not physically be there, but I can manage a lot of it from the laptop also. So I do know what's going on. So it's not like I have no involvement at all. So this idea that you're just going to buy a laundromat, collect some quarters, and you're going to be driving a Lamborghini and flashing wads of money, well, that's great for like YouTube videos and clicks and thumbnails. But in reality, the better laundromat owners that I know, they are involved in the business. And again, they might not put 40 hours a week in, but they also don't put in zero. So a laundromat is not passive income. Now, if you want to hire somebody to do every single aspect of the laundromat, have a manager and just never get involved, well, yes, then it would be passive. But then again, you could say that about any business. I mean, if you had enough money, you could just buy a restaurant, never go in it, and just say, just send me the P&L statements every year. So in a sense, that would be a passive income for that individual. But there's nobody in their right mind that would think that restaurant is passive income. So in that sense, any business could be if you want to pay other people to do everything for you. Now, like I've said, if you've watched my other videos, the laundromat, it's a great business. It's growing with pickup and delivery. Everybody is a potential customer. But if you want to make those 20 to 30% like return on investments that I've talked about in other videos, you have to put in the work. There's no shortcut to putting in the work. I hope you like this video. If you have ideas for other videos that you want me to talk about, subjects, leave me a comment. Please like this video, and I hope you'd also subscribe. Have a fantastic day.